there?
No, I might just go home with wine.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I got bottles
I
of wine.
haven't seen my wife in like 3 days.
Well, you worked how many hours overtime?
24.
Jesus.
Yeah, I worked day, night, and then came home. And then went back for last
What's
night.
your normal schedule?
Day, night.
So you do 2 days, 2 nights,
Yeah.
and then you get, what is it, 4 on, 4 off?
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking to a couple of guys that worked the 24 this week. That's the way to go. It's like 24 on, 24 off, 24 on, 5 off. It's insane.
Well, that's like when you guys used to do the quads at the prison.
No,
You do
yeah.
like 4, what would you do, 4 8s?
Yeah, and that was just terrible. When you got to do counts and stuff and you're responsible for fine
Like you can't
details,
just nap?
You can get away with it on midnight shift, but like all the other shifts, the inmates are out.
Ugh.
So, yeah, that job. And then you got to be responsible for counts and making sure everything's written out right on the forms. And if you turn it in wrong, you're a fucking jerk off. And that job's stressful. It really is. God bless those people. And I still talk to a lot of them. That place is awful.
Not just that. So I was talking to my neighbor across the street last night, and a friend of theirs who was a prison guard, and I don't know the last name, and I probably shouldn't say it on here anyway if I did, but 67, just recently retired, months ago, just died of cancer, multiple forms of cancer. But I remember, like, every building you guys had there, all of them were riddled with black mold.
I'm sure at one
Like,
point.
no air conditioning, like, just horrible working conditions.
So I worked at Maximum, which is the one across the street. You're familiar. You were a supplement dealer to the
Not that I went to Max.
Department of Corrections finest.
I was the nutrition consigliere.
Yeah, right across the street from Tasco, we had that place was disgusting. Oh, but they kept it right because you had inmate labor and they'd have to clean everything. But there were underbellies of that building that I never went into. I don't know what they look like, but I don't need to.
I wouldn't want to. There's one place I don't want to see.
It's like one of New England's oldest functioning prison buildings.
It looks cool. Like it looks like a cool historic building.
It looks just as old on the inside. It's got.
You know where I'd like to go one of these days? I'd love to go to Alcatraz.
Yeah, it's a cool trip.
I'd love to see Alcatraz.
I don't know. It's probably expensive, but
I'm sure it is.
plus, San Francisco is like a scary
We were looking at
place
pictures
right
last night. I don't know who we're friends with on Facebook. They were just recently in Yosemite National Park.
Yeah.
Bro, you gotta see the pictures of that place. Absolutely breathtaking.
now. See a lot of the Midwest when I was stationed in Colorado, but I never saw that.
We her and I are talking about buying a camper next year.
There you go. We
Just
did that last weekend. That was some stuff.
I just want to get a camper so when the shit finally hits the fan, I could just load my cats up, my guns, and be mobile.
Got to be able to take everything. I hit the road.
Notice how I said cats first.
Yeah, priorities, man. I got 6 of them. I think that'd probably be the dogs. Well, no, it'd be the wife first because I can't move all the other animals by myself.
No, some of the cats won't come to me. I need the cat whisperer to come with me, of course. When are you getting your puppy?
Not until the 19th.
Jesus.
Nah, it's for the best. He stays with the breeder. He stays with all his litter mates. We got a wedding coming up
When's your wedding?
next weekend. So her niece is going to be staying at my house for the weekend, which means we're going to not put a puppy on her, too, when she's coming to deal with
Too much to handle?
the 2 idiots I have already. So, yeah, we'll wait. We can pick them up on the way home from the wedding.
What do you got planned this weekend? Anything?
Nah.
You must be tired, man. You work your ass off.
Yard work.
Yeah.
Yard work.
Ditto.
I mean, what else really is there? My softball team's on bye week, so I'm really up Schitt's Creek. More yard work.
Shit, that's what I wanted to ask you. This weekend's out because my family's coming from New York. Next weekend you have your wedding, but I want to go. Where's the closest batting cages? Is it Mulligan's?
Yep.
I want to go to the batting cages. Bad. I know I'm going to hurt myself.
You want to try to hit baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to hurt myself.
Yeah, I haven't swung a bat in probably 20 years, but I miss it.
I haven't swung at a pitch. I mean, I still play wiffle ball, so I guess, I stand a chance.
I'm thinking we should have it recorded.
That'd be like foul tick rules.
Yeah, we should have this recorded. Have Brianna bring one of the cameras, and it could be the intro to one of the shows. It could be the intro to the rehab show after we tear our ribs.
Oh man, I give it a shot because I get my back is like starting to throb right now just thinking about it. Trying to throw a bat at an 80-mile-an-hour fastball, I'm gonna definitely hurt myself.
I got that. You were on the inversion table last time you were here. That thing works.
I got one.
Oh, you bought one?
Yeah, my wife found one on Amazon for like $99.
Yeah, they're cheap.
Yeah, I was on it today.
My parents bought that one that I have downstairs. I think it was around the same time, and I know you remember this, when Body by Jake was popular.
Dude, that guy did all right for himself.
Yeah, he did.
All things considered.
What about Tony Little, the Gazelle glider?
I haven't seen him in a long time. Like, these guys just vanish.
We have seen Tony Little. He's now the Secretary of Health under the Biden administration.
Oh, dear Lord. That's a horse of a different color, isn't it? Hey, whatever you want to do.
So I thought we could start these episodes from now on saying that we acknowledge Donald Trump as the president.
Well,
I do not acknowledge Joe Biden.
Even if it's...
I don't want to.
He's in the position. It's just that he this has been a dumpster fire. Have we ever seen a dumpster fire like this in American politics where everything went so far off the rails so fast?
It went south quick. I mean, how many days has he been in office so far?
6 months, like, what?
I want to get an exact count.
150, 180 days, somewhere.
It's kind of insane.
But
how long has Joe Biden been president? It says in office January 2009 to January 2017.
So that doesn't work.
Then that's nonsense. Whatever.
Yeah, so he's about 180 days, give or take. But
disaster. And that's being generous about it.
Well, what can we expect? Your lead up to the election, your campaign was, don't ask me that, I'm not going to tell you. Don't ask me this. Don't ask me about the pipeline, I'm not going to tell you. He suckered in all the steel workers. Their unions still voted for him. I don't know if the body did. That's probably an entirely different situation.
But traditionally, unions usually go Democrat.
Yeah, and they voted that way, and he signed that executive order shutting down the pipeline the next day. Like.
And now you have Russia building an oil pipeline.
Right. And he gave them the green light and removed sanctions to allow them to do it.
Yeah.
So you're moving mountains and changing policy in Russia to get their pipeline done. But you closed the one that cost 11,000 Americans jobs.
See, I think this all goes along with their agenda. And we're going to go over this tonight, but I really do think that this is part of the agenda where they want as many Americans as possible financially reliant on them.
Right.
Like with the whole paying people to stay home, the extension of benefits for unemployment, an extra $300-400. The labor force right now, you can't find people that want to go back to work.
No.
Certain states are now cutting those extended benefits. But again, this is part of the list we're going to go over tonight. But I think this is all part of their plan to incentivize people to stay home. You need your government to clothe you, feed you, fuel you, and then now to take care of your health.
They want universal income.
Yes.
Universal income, socialism.
Mm-hmm. It's
we
exactly
decide what you
like.
can have. We decide what you can't. You get what's on the grocery store shelves. You don't have really a ton of choice.
Mm-hmm.
Vice did a really good documentary where they had a couple guys go down to Cuba for about a week.
I saw that.
And they tried to check it out, and they wanted to see what it was all about.
But they opened the grocery store for like 90 minutes a day.
With minimal stock.
You go in there, there's sardines on the shelf, spam on the shelf.
All sorts of weird.
That's all you get.
Whatever, and that's it.
Everything else is a luxury item that goes to politicians and dictators or whoever that is.
Right. So they went down there, and it's all gas lines and grocery store lines. And if you get there before they run out, good for you. If not,
people run out of gas waiting in line a mile away from the gas station.
Try again tomorrow.
Yeah. And they don't even open every day. That's the other thing
No, they have like pop-up sales for gas and groceries. If you're lucky enough to be there,
I said it once before and I'll say it again. I think that anyone who advocates for that type of world, if they want to live like that, I would suggest you go to one of these countries if they let you in, and if they let you leave, then make a better judgment, make a better educated decision. There's a reason the rest of the world is looking to the U.S. right now as the savior. Like, we are the literal last line of defense.
Yep.
So,
yeah, it usually works out that way. Yeah. But you think about it, most of the socialist ideology is being pushed by like college age kids.
No life experience.
Grown ass people pushing for socialism and that's the thing, like moderate Democrats don't know anything about that, but these younger Democrats want some really extreme shit, and they're trying to push you in a really extreme direction where things get ugly. And
I think that it is trending that way, and I really do think it's because college is breeding that mindset.
Yeah.
I really do. I think this is what they're picking up in school. Like, the world owes you something. Everything should be a free handout. Blah.
Yeah.
In the meantime, how much are you paying to go to that college? How much are you going into debt to pay these people to fill your head with this nonsense?
Yeah, there was a cartoon meme I saw yesterday. It was a college-age kid, and he's telling his dad that he's a racist, and the dad's bubble was that he paid $100,000 to be called a racist.
Yeah. It's not inaccurate.
I mean, I get it. It's you have so many different groups of people on college campuses that there's no possible way to please everybody.
No, you can't. And you have to pick your spots. You have to try. You have two options. You remain an outcast.
Right.
And you just go there and educate yourself the way you should, or you lump yourself into a category and then you kind of fit the norm, because all studies show that you become the average of the 5 people you spend all your time with.
Right.
So right, wrong, or otherwise, whoever you're spending your time with, those are the ideologies and the behaviors and the mannerisms you're going to absorb and kind of turn into.
Yeah.
So, and you see that across the board with that generation.
Yeah.
They all look and sound the same.
Yeah,
Every one of them.
It's the hero worship for celebrities. What matters doesn't matter, and what's real doesn't exist to these people.
Did you see the text I sent you this morning that George Soros may have died?
I did. And then I also saw an article that Reuters reported, maybe accidentally, right around the same time that he had died. And it was an accident, because the services and whatnot, there was no information input it was just like common print X's before they put everything in.
Weird.
So yeah, it's strange. Is it probable? I don't know. He's a pretty old guy. I don't know. Who knows? Needs something bigger than that. Well,
I can only hope. I shared that on Facebook, and I just said fingers crossed.
Yeah.
That didn't get me in trouble, but I caught a 30-day ban today for putting up the patent numbers that go along with all the viruses. Actually, here, I'll tell you exactly what I got banned for. I put a picture up. It shows the U.S. patent for AIDS, for H1N1, for Ebola, swine flu, BSE. Bullshit extravaganza. Zika, SARS, and coronavirus. I put up this post.
Might be Ebola, because I know that was one of them, and that's not one.
No, Ebola was the third one down. I don't know what BSE is.
I'm not sure.
But I put a post up showing all the U.S. patent numbers for all these, and within 30 seconds, I got a 30-day ban on Facebook. So Facebook, that's for you.
They're so picky and choosy about what they want to hit you for, too.
It's so random. I tell you, I got fact-checked last week. I put up that video of LeBron James on his barbershop show, whatever, on HBO. And in this clip, it's from his show, he says, I don't want anything to do with white people. I don't want my kids around white people. I don't want my kids around them. I don't want their kids around me.
Right.
That's the video. I got fact-checked. It's a video of him saying it, and I got fact-checked. And then I got fact-checked for the Fauci emails.
Does anybody believe in these fact checks anymore? Like, serious, do you believe in this shit?
No, I
like, these are people that were hired by the Soroses and such
to hide information,
and then given credibility and pushed as reality, and they talk about it on the news. One of the videos, one of the chapters in The Fall of the Cabal, she talks about fact checkers, and she goes into Snopes and talks about how it's this one guy and his wife that started this thing, and they were the fact checkers, and then they got divorced. And then he married some like online burlesque porn star, and now it's her and another porn star, and that's Snopes. That's it. And there's no research. They're given their marching orders just like everybody else.
I think they're looking for keywords.
You know what I mean?
I think that's all they're looking for.
Like, they are, like, and the fact checking itself, if you actually click the link and read it, which I'm sure very few people do, it's hysterical, because they're playing wordplay. It's all wordplay. Like, well, you said this, and it's not totally accurate because of this. Like Trump, like what happened yesterday. Comes back, all of a sudden, they did not clear out that church in Lafayette Square for him to take that picture in front of the church with the Bible.
Which he got scrutinized for, just for holding the Bible in front of it.
Didn't clear those people out for him. They cleared those people out because they needed to come in and put up temporary fencing because of what they were doing to the building. the peaceful protesters that
Peaceful
were burning
protests.
down churches and courthouses for 8 months. So that's another chip in the Trump narrative.
It's all everything's a chip in the narrative right now. It's disgusting. And I just want to point out, there was never fact checking until the election.
Right.
It didn't exist until then.
Right. And
it's literally to hide information.
All the news, like USA Today, fact checkers shut down right after Biden took office. Like now fact checking isn't going to be a thing anymore because it can't be. Well, it can be just as it is now, where you put fact checks on people who are trying to tell the truth, and it's an ugly shit show we got going on right now, all around. It's all encompassing, really.
Yeah, I can't believe that I literally just took U.S. patents linked to these viruses, which is all factual. You can look this stuff up, fact checked, bang, banned.
Yeah. And you know what? It's crazy because for Fauci to have the credibility that he has,
oh God,
like, older people know this guy already. I wasn't hip to his whole involvement in the AIDS epidemic until recently, in the last 2 weeks or so. And I've been listening to him, and it's the same shit. He says this, then he says that, then he gives a justification for why he said
it's
that.
like he's reading a playbook.
And now he's on Chuck Todd yesterday talking about how anyone who wants to question me is questioning science.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he referred to himself in the third person. This is a sick guy.
Yeah.
He refers to himself in the third person and says, if you want to come at me, you're coming at science. Well, then science is owned. Cool.
Science is constantly changing and constantly wrong and evolving. So yeah, we have every right to question science.
Nobody's questioning that. That's fact. He's right. But he's not flip-flopping on things that have changed. The use of masks has not changed. That science has not changed. His emails, he says, don't bother wearing one. It's not going to contain the droplets.
Yeah.
He says it's better for someone who has the virus so they're not coughing large droplets onto other people.
And then they started that nonsense with people being asymptomatic, so you could be a carrier or not know it, so everyone had to mask up.
False.
Yes. False.
Could
Completely
not
false.
transmit asymptomatic. All in his emails. But people won't take the time to read it because they'll go online and they'll say, I'm listening to them defend him, and it's like these schoolyard tactics. Like, oh, they said this, this, and this about you. And he's like, well, they're stupid. And they both laugh and they have a good chuckle about it. Like, there's no answer. Why aren't you answering these questions? You are in a position right now where you may be culpable for the greatest, blindside on the American people of all time.
I really do think that they're propping him up as a shield right now.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to go too deep into this yet because this is one of the topics I want to go over tonight, but I think he's nothing more than a sacrificial lamb. Right. I really do.
Right.
I think that's all he is.
Yeah.
So with that was a solid introduction right there. That was good. We got into some personal stuff. It was
Got
good.
around
very, very calm. We're both very calm tonight. So we've listened to the criticisms, and what we're doing tonight is going to try a little bit of a different format. I've broken the show down into 4 segments. And we're going to start right now with part 1. It's called The Great COVID-19 Reset Has Failed. So we'll start with that. And we will do our best to stay on task. We're very excitable puppies, the two of us. Squirrels. You get 2 good-looking dudes with shaved heads in the same room. This much testosterone should be illegal in a small space. But then again, it's not. We're in my house, so we're just going to go from there. So we already touched on this a little bit, but the first piece I wanted to go over is, since Biden was sworn in, how the Democrats are systematically destroying the economy.
Yeah.
I know we touched on this a little bit, but you just look at inflation, lumber. What the hell is going on with lumber?
What do you know? Inflation's up 5%?
It's disgusting.
In 6 months?
And gas is slowly creeping up. It is now coming into the middle of June. You and I both know it's going to go
More
up.
expensive in the summer.
It's July, 4th of July weekend. That's when I think it's going to hit its peak. Inflation, fuel, lumber, and again, incentivizing people to stay home.
Right.
So if nobody's going to work, but yet you have these people who can't afford to not go to work, like in the retail stores, like the Walmarts, the Home Depots, the Lowe's, the same places that stayed open the entire time during COVID.
Yeah.
I know you and I see the world through a different lens right now, but how do people not see the scam? Like it's like, you walk up to like the carnival and the guy's got the 3 cups and the marble and he hides it. Like, how do you not see the scam, the wool being pulled over your eyes?
it's crazy because I can't even be mad at these people. I can't even like talk shit to these people. Like, listen, if they want to pay you more to stay at home, and financially that you're doing what you got to do. I mean, could I do it? No, I couldn't do that.
I'd go nuts.
I can't be. I'm good. Perfect. Right where I'm at. Work is my vacation to go to the city and see crazy shit for 4 days and then go back to the country and just.
But I think this is what people miss. And when you get up every morning and you force yourself to do things you don't want to do. Nobody wants to get up and work every single day. But there is that sense of self-worth, gratification, fulfillment.
Yep.
You've accomplished, you contributed to your community, your society. You save lives on a daily basis. I don't know that I wish everyone had that sense of accomplishment. I really do think that that's the missing piece for a lot of these people, is they don't know their place in the world. They don't know how to find their place in the world. And here you have this bumbling old man as the president offering everybody money to stay home. We're going to take care of your health. We're going to do this. Like, I get the attraction, but I wish there was a way to just get an audience on a large scale with these people and just help them find their purpose. I think that's really what it comes down to. They don't have a purpose.
I mean, for a lot of people, work is just punching a clock and doing some shit you don't care about for someone else.
Yeah.
Like, I am in a very fortunate position. I wanted to be a fireman when I was 5 years old. So to be a firefighter at 41 years old, I have no asks left. Yeah. Like, got the girl, I got the job.
Yeah, you're happy.
Got a couple dogs, I'm straight. Everything else is gravy, dude.
Yeah.
That's it. Seriously.
Yeah, you have peace.
Yeah. You know, it's all you can ask for, really.
No.
Just try to hold on to it. But, what was I saying? See, I get sidetracked way too easy.
No, it's because I cut you off. We were talking about them destroying the economy, the incentives to stay home.
Yeah, you can't get upset. Like, you got to make money. You got to feed your kids. You got to put clothes on these kids. It doesn't matter. The people at the store setting the prices, you know, that are up 5% on everything. Don't give a shit whether you have the money or not. Their prices are going to be what their prices are going to be. You got to get the money. So they're going to take every penny they can and squeeze it. But at some point, these benefits have to go away. Like, COVID restrictions are to a bare minimum in this country at this point. Like, and oddly enough, the only cities it seems to still be a really big thing is the same cities where those governors were all in the shit.
They're all being exposed right now.
Like, Gretchen Whitmer is trying to extend out their. How do you not destroy an economy like this? Is a better question. Like, how do you not understand that the longer you keep the workforce locked in the house or incentivized to stay in the house, industry can't run. Products can't be made.
And this is why the inflation's staying up.
Inflation's going up because they keep printing money like they're the monopoly men now. But yeah, it's all relative. Like, there's less product and more money.
And I think people need to realize that eventually, when the scales have tipped in the resets, if the scales would ever tip in favor of the Great Reset, like this, everything could be taken from you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people need to realize, is you have to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, because the second, it's like being in an abusive relationship.
Right.
It's hard to walk away because you start to doubt your self-worth and you feel as though there's something you're doing wrong and you have to stay with that individual. Right. That's precisely what the government is doing to the general population right now. They're coaxing you into believing that you can't get by without their safety, security, and the money they're giving you.
They beat you down, and they pay you for it, and they beat you down again.
It's no different than being I see it as being in an abusive relationship, but that's just me. Now, the second part of this is I want to talk about how the 4 years Trump was in office was one of the best economies this country's ever seen. Yep. In my opinion, and I know a lot of us see this the same way, I believe that Trump, even after COVID, economy bounced back strong. Yeah. So when he exited office, still hasn't conceded, by the way, when he exited office, he had set this up. The economy was so strong and so bountiful that the Democrats coming in, you had to reveal your hand. You had to show what your true agenda was, who your masters were, communist China, to tear it down. And we already discussed this with the Russia pipeline. We'll get into China afterwards because that's part of another segment. But I think what Trump did, look, you always want the economy to be the way it is. You want a booming economy. Right. if you care about the country.
It serves everybody.
And you could see now that the Democrats have no interest in having a flourishing economy. They want it broken, shattered. They want you dependent upon them.
Well, it's like, how can you think these things are all accidents? How can you think these things are all coincidence? That all these things they told you about and all these campaigns, like making Washington, D.C. a state, shot down, the filibuster. No, oddly enough, you have one Democrat who's willing to stand up and Manchin, and I'm sure he's taking a boatload of shit right now, but, you know, he's doing his job. He's, you know, it's too easy to do less, and one, like, how does that say? Breeding contempt. Like, if you're incentivized to be lazy, you're going to be lazy and be cool with it. Oh, because that's what they're paying you to do.
I believe this has all been a brilliant marketing plan through MK Ultra. I really do. You look at the marketing for this pandemic. The marketing alone shows you they're pushing this through celebrities, commercials. You know, they're having this contest where 15 people won $50,000 today in California. And we'll get into that later on in the show. But if you can't see that they need us to get the shot more than we actually need the shot, then you are what we refer to as a sheep. You're just following the flock. You're marching in line the same way the Jews did during the Holocaust. You're lining up willingly to take this experimental gene therapy. Right. And again, I don't like calling it a vaccine. Brianna gets mad. She slaps me. It's not a vaccine. It's not stopping anything.
It's not FDA approved.
No. But at the end of the day, I don't even trust the FDA. I'm going to be honest with you. You look at what they allow in our food.
Right. No, and I'm not saying they're to be trusted either, but that hasn't even happened.
I know.
Like,
it's at least
that
a step.
Fake credibility hasn't even been given. Like, it was issued under the circumstances where it didn't need to be, but now, like we said, they're incentivizing people, like Washington State, giving away drugs, giving away some weed.
You sent me that picture. They're giving people free marijuana to get the shot.
Buy your own weed. What are you? You're gonna get this shot for weed? Like, what, a joint, a rollie? They're gonna give you a rollie, and they're gonna say, okay, thanks.
I know we went over this with the De Blasio, the cheeseburger and the fries. Yep. That was the most disgusting case of pandering I've ever seen in my life. And I have a hard time listening to people chew anyway, and hearing them chew into that mic was gross enough.
Yeah. Well, look at New York. They're the forefront of the economy. Just shit. They're leaving Manhattan's in droves. He's like trying to like save a sinking ship at this point.
You see what they were trying to do. They're trying to tax people who moved during COVID. I forget what the parameters were. I got to look up the article, but this is a real thing. I remember talking to my uncle about it. They were taxing people. He's trying to implement the tax on people moving during COVID. I forget under what it failed. It didn't go through, but I forget under what pretenses this was. I'll look it up. I'll find it. But they were literally trying to tax people who moved during COVID as like a punishment. Like they wanted to grab it was like 50 or 55% of whatever you made on selling your property.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the capital gains stuff is absolutely ridiculous. It's especially like we just moved recently, so I had to pay a lot more attention. But it's you think about what our forefathers stacked bodies for, and governments intentionally tanking economies would probably show up somewhere way above everything they were concerned with.
Why do you think they want to erase? Why do you think they want to erase history? They only want to remind you about slavery, but not why this country was founded in the first place. Because everything this country was founded on was exactly what we're experiencing right now. Right. They don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know what our ancestors did, why they fled King George from England, why they came here. No, you're not supposed to know that. You're not supposed to know what the Constitution, why it was really written. It's written for this exact situation and what we're experiencing. But they don't want to go over that. They don't want you believing in God, believing in your country. They don't want camaraderie. They want us at each other's throats.
No.
So, again, I was referring to people as sheep, but like I think that by falling in line with this, by taking that money, by playing by their rules, by staying under their thumb, you are doing nothing but strengthening their case to turn this into a communist, socialist, whatever you want to call it, Marxist country. Yeah. I think you have to accept the fact that your you're part of this. You are accepting that defeat. You've already given up.
Yeah, it's strange because...
And I'm shocked by how many people are doing it.
Well, the thing is that people find it way outside of their scope to be able to accept the fact that politicians and the media are not as honest as they'd always dreamed.
Oh my God.
And they don't get that because these are institutions. These have been built up over years and years and years and years to have that representation to the people of trust, and they're going to take care of us and they want what's best for us. And over the past 30, 40 years, probably closer to 60 now, they're all bought and paid for, and nobody gets it. Nobody gets that all the same philanthropists that are supporting democratic politics are the same ones that own the TV stations. Like there's 6 guys that own television. There's 6 different entities that own every station you watch.
You ever see a movie with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis called The Campaign?
Yeah, I think I did. I think I saw it. Yeah.
That movie, I know it's a comedy, it's a Will Ferrell, but that movie is the best representation I've ever seen of how politics actually work. The flip-flopping, the scandals, the this, the that, the how the Marx brothers were putting these people in play. It's insulting the way they play on people. But that movie, if you haven't seen The Campaign with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis, you need to watch that movie because that's literally what we're watching right now. It's a joke, it's insulting to be it's insulting to be a citizen of this country right now.
Yeah,
it is. It's first of all, when you said this last week, we're at a period right now where you can't talk about your political beliefs unless it agrees with somebody else's agenda. You have to accept other people's confused gender identity. This is bizarre world. Like everything that we know as Americans. Yeah. Is upside down and inside out.
Well, all we're asking is for people to ask questions. Why is everybody so quick to fall in line? If you don't believe in something, that's okay. It's okay. That's how this country was built, is as on people disagreeing.
Yes.
And questioning.
That's the whole point.
And asking why. And that's our right. That's what the Constitution's being shit all over right now in any way they can, and they're trying to, word things out of it and change the language and
it's not open for discussion. It shouldn't be.
No, these things are not open to debate. That's, you know what I mean? But you feel bad for people that follow this line because they're dedicated to it, and it's these news sources, and it's like, Lester Holt and this guy has a ton of credibility. He's on TV every night. The whole world watches him. Do you remember The Fresh Prince?
Oh God, yeah.
Whenever I see him, I think of Trevor, the daughter's husband that dies in the hand gliding accident. And but he came out a couple weeks ago and said it's my job to deliver the narrative. I don't worry about who questions it. Well, that's not fair and open
narrative
reporting.
Is not news.
You're not. What are you reporting? You're reporting what you're told. So yeah, it's just,
we're at a really awkward time in the country right now. It sucks, but I would just say this, and again, I thought we'd kind of wrap up each section with, this is what I want people to take away from this piece of the show is, do your homework, question everything, and this is a repetitive theme with us, and it's going to be, but I want you to just ask yourself, why is the government so hell-bent on all of us depending on them for everything?
Yep.
Go look at any other government that rules, and I say rules because that's what they want, that rules their countries that way, and you tell me the condition of that country.
Shithole.
It's a shithole, correct.
Yeah.
So I would just say this, pay closer attention, not to what the news tells you, but to everything going on behind the scenes. All the information is there.
Yeah, you just got to find it.
We're not making all of this up. Every single thing that we're talking about, we're giving you our opinions and how we're interpreting it, but these are things that are happening.
Yeah.
We're just giving you what we believe is happening. It's not like we're making up these scenarios like, oh my God, we found a leprechaun at the base of a rainbow.
Right.
No, everything we're talking about is happening. It's up to you and us to kind of decipher what does it actually mean.
Right. Yeah, it's people can find information if they want to find it. And the thing that should concern you is if every channel you turn on is telling you the same exact story.
I know.
That's a problem. That's a concern. That somebody tell me something different. Anybody, somebody tell me something, because this can't. These people are all falling in line.
All the major news stations.
You've seen the
telling you
millions
same
and
thing.
millions of super clips that are out on the internet of news stations reading the same fucking script, excuse me, on the same night, over and over in every city across the country. They're all over YouTube.
It's insane. You watch these people reporting live from the streets, and you can find the footage of these people, like the camera zoomed in on, say, for instance, there's 10 people wide behind him, 6 rows deep, so you got 50, 60 people there. Yeah. And that's it. It makes it look like the streets are crowded, but they're literally just got the angles that you're seeing right now. Like it's all for show.
Right.
It's all a lie. And I think that's going to be the hardest part when people realize about our reality and what this country could be in comparison to what it is. I think and we've talked about this numerous times. People have a real hard time taking that red pill. And
it's what people should know.
Yes. And it's happening. I mean, you could see it. You could see it every single day.
Yep. Yeah, there's not a lot of denying it anymore. It's just a matter of how much they're going to let people know.
I saw a beautiful meme yesterday. Brianna and I were sitting on the couch getting ready to settle in for the night, and it showed a traffic jam. It said, "Breaking news, the United States is running out of conspiracy theories because all the old ones are coming true."
It's good. I mean, it's good that it's all happening and that we can finally move on, because the world's stressed. The world's strained right now.
Yeah, it is.
You got politicians or whatever they may be saying on the internet that they see U.S. flags and they're offended and that it hurts their feelings.
Oh, I saw that.
And, this isn't where we want to be. This isn't how it's supposed to be.
If you're upset by seeing the American flag while you're in America, you probably shouldn't live here. I would never go to Paraguay and say I'm really offended by seeing the Paraguayan flag, Paraguayan, whatever it is.
Right.
And expect something to be done about it.
Probably get shot.
I'd probably get shot and get my hands cut off.
Yeah, they wouldn't like it.
No, that's right. Go pull that shit in another country. Watch what happens. All right, so listen, any parting wisdom for part 1 of tonight's show?
No, I think that's it for now. I mean, we'll get back. We'll get back. People have to go back to work. I mean, seriously. The country can't function without product. So hopefully everybody ends up back at work.
I hope as soon as although now that I work from home, I used to complain about the traffic.
Yeah.
My office is just north of Boston in Somerville, so I work from home 100% of the time. Thank God.
Traffic's back to normal now.
I don't miss that whatsoever. All right, so I'm gonna do the cut here. Cut.